Hello, World of Warships world. We are back, you and me and Minds, with another operations guide. This time it is Hermes. 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 I have no idea how to pronounce it properly, at least not in English, so I'm just gonna go with Hermes. Of course, in this operation, you spawn down here. As you can see, the entire team is assembled. We also have a couple of bots, the JB over there and the Saint Louis, and of course the Alsace there. And the goal of the operation is to reach that exit over there. As you can see, there is a group of aircraft here, and we have to shoot it down. That is the first thing in this operation. And the team, what teamwork, amazing. Focusing the AA properly, and the aircraft just die. Those, of course, are scout aircraft, and if you don't manage to shoot them down, there will be so many aircraft later, and you're going to get a mission to shoot down 100 airplanes. Now that we shot all of those scouts down, presumably the enemy are going to send half the aircraft in a different direction, and so we're going to have fewer aircraft to deal with, and we're going to get a mission to shoot down only 50. As you can see as well, there's a thunderstorm on the map, and that indicates that the first group of enemies is going to spawn roughly where my cursor is on the minimap. It's going to be a York, and I think Z23 and a Gede. In any case, it's going to be a York and 2 DDs. Something has been changed about this operation, fortunately. It used to be that whichever cruiser was the first cruiser spotted would be the main target for the rest of the operation. So let's say this Mines is the first cruiser that gets spotted. That previously would have meant even if this group died, the second group would have focused on the mines whenever the mines got spotted. Even if there were the targets that were closer, the mines would get focused first. This is no longer the case. Now it's more about proximity, and bots behave more predictably, you could say. Now the Hysenyang is smoking up us and or the enemy team, which is of course dangerous, because in this operation there are 4 situations where you can just lose. The mission, of course, is to escort the battleship Rouen to the designated sector. The designated sector is up in A4. And another secondary target is to make sure that it retains more than 50% of their HP. So what that means is just one DD needs to come close enough to launch its torps, and the operation can be lost then and there. This DD is uncomfortably close, and if it were to just turn broadside and launch torps, it could ruin our day there. Even a few torps are enough to bring the Rouen down to below 50% HP, and then of course it's already a secondary target lost, or it may just randomly hit all the torps and then the operation is lost entirely. I point this out because I'm not particularly happy with our Hysenyang dropping the smoke and then not spotting, but going behind the smoke screen again. So that means the enemy DD had the chance to get this close in the first place. Once the first group has been dealt with, there is going to be a second group that's going to be here. It's more or less the same. It's a York and 2 German DDs. Maybe the DDs are slightly different, but it doesn't really matter. A York and 2 German DDs. We are the focus fire target here, which at this point is not really a reason for concern, because those ships should be dying rather quickly, and there's going to be a healing phase later. However, we do want to make sure we are not the focus target for the next group that's going to spawn, because if the first group spawns here and the second group spawns here, the third group is going to be a group of 4 German battleships that are going to spawn approximately here. Of course, this operation is a mirrored operation, you could say. You can also have a scenario where the thunderstorm is coming in from here, and then the first group is going to be here, the second group is going to be here, and the third group is going to be here, or something like that. And then the exit is going to be in D1. Now, as you can see, we relocated, so we are no longer the closest target to the battleships. And now we can just pepper their broadsides with AP. You are faced with a difficult decision here, because someone is saying thank for smoke again. I don't know, that's an enemy smoke. Whatever. You're faced with a difficult decision here. Do you want to shoot AP? And he smokes up or something. I don't understand. You have boom, by the way. That's what happens if you're the closest target and you're gonna get focus fired. It was just a bot, so it didn't matter. But yeah, you're faced with the difficult decision here. Do you want to pepper their broadside with AP? You do, of course. I think I've mentioned it only 500 times so far. Have the highest AP DPM out of all cruisers in the matchmaking spread, which is tier 6 to tier 8, which some people don't seem to understand. Recently I've had a guy in my game, Nagato, who suicided, and when I was like, why do you do this, some other guy said, well, it's rough for him. The matchmaking put him in a game with the tier 8 ships. And like, dude, this is operations, yes. How are you surprised by this? Is that a reason for suiciding? Well, in any case, yeah, do you want to set fires there? Or do you want to shoot AP? I'm gonna go with AP. I'm not sure which is better, but I think AP is the way to go here. You can see we now have the secondary objective of shooting down 50 enemy aircraft, and very soon the entire area will be swarming with first torpedo bombers and then dive bombers and then maybe more torpedo bombers. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Of course, we also have to save at least 3 enemy battleships. Since we only have 2 and the Rouen is the 3rd, we got the JB bot back there. Sometimes if you have more than 2 battleships, the JB bot will instead be a Charles Martel bot. And yeah, destroy enemy battleships. We've killed 3 already, the 4th is currently in the process of going down. And the 5th one will of course spawn in A10, because that's how the operation is set up this time. If you have the mirrored operation, like first group here, second group there, third group there, then the battleship will spawn in J1. It's going to be a Bayern accompanied by 3 German DDs. Now, the reason why taking a bit of damage in the beginning didn't matter is this healing phase right here. The Rouen will go here and stop and heal for a bit. Of course, if we go the other way, it will also have a healing phase. But yeah, you can just be here and heal up. Someone told the Helena to get in here as well, which is probably not a bad idea. Now you can already see dive bombers incoming. They are, of course, Luftwaffles, which means they are AP bombers, and they can hurt if they hit your citadel. We are already at 33 out of 50 planes shot down, so we should be able to finish that rather quickly. Of course, we launch our fighter plane because we know there's going to be more planes incoming, and we hope we're going to get some planes shot down by our fighter plane. Of course, you want to set the Bayern on fire, and then it repairs, and then you want to set some more fires, but sometimes you have to be the DPM and you have to shoot the DDs. Sadly, our Edinburgh doesn't have HE, so it's going to struggle against bow on DDs. Synop's a Synop, the other guys, Helena and the mines over there, they should be able to deal some decent damage to the DDs as well. Again, the Shenyang, at least he left this gap. But I think once again he was trying to smoke up the enemy DDs to enable them to get close. Of course, the first group can get close and launch towards the second group, and this is the third group that can very much ruin your day, or rather ruin this operation. What you can see here is me trying to stay rather close to this island, because in case of more torpedo planes coming in, you want to be that close, as close as possible to the island, probably closer than I am, which is why I'm relocating now. So the torpedo bombers cannot come over the island and drop torps directly into your side, so they have to go for other targets, or their torps won't even arm. Now, this is of course rather dangerous because you're showing full broadside to the Bayern here, but under normal circumstances, teammates will involuntarily be closer to the enemy team and tank those shots for you. We also have destroyed 50 out of 50 aircraft, which means the incessant aircraft spam will quieten down quite a bit, and there's going to be fewer aircraft. Oh, Sen is playing very actively. Like, I don't agree with all of his decisions, but he is playing very actively, so that's nice. Oh, the Helena, of course, tried to block our shots because he hates us. Just kidding. The Bayern dies. This means we destroyed 5 enemy battleships. Our Rouen over here is still very healthy, very nice. We still have 4 battleships alive. In fact, nobody has died so far. Fucking crazy. Of course, the Mainzes got the majority of the kills. And now you want to make your way up to the end zone, because there's going to be a Rhone, which I think sometimes is a Siegfried, and a Prinz Eugen, or maybe the Eugen is sometimes the Siegfried, I'm not sure. Depends on the scaling, I think, unless they change that as well. Yeah, those are there. Then there's a Nuremberg / München, also depending on the scaling. And most importantly, there's going to be 3 DDs that are going to go this way, and they want to set up shop in A4 and launch torps into your battleship, your Rouen. Of course, if you go the other way and the exit's here, the DDs will come in this way and set up shop here as well and launch torps at your ships. And now those ships are coming this way. If the exit's in D1 and the operation is mirrored, they will go down the 3 line. But essentially it's exactly the same gameplay, so there's no point in me casting the mirrored operation as well. As you can see there's a Parzival, which we are currently shooting at. The Parzival, of course, is a secondary objective, destroy aircraft carrier Adler. I should be in the smoke here, because then I probably would go dark as soon as the Eugen dies. Yes. Now our Hermes is doing well here with the smoke deployment, because it also shields us against those aircraft, so that's very nice. Now, we want to kill the Parzival, of course, and we also want to kill these DDs here. They are very dangerous. Also, these ships are a bit annoying because nobody's shooting them at the moment, but I guess everyone's busy focusing on the carrier, which I don't blame people for. Now, our JB is rushing ahead. Well, it's a bot, so you're gonna have a hard time stopping it. As you can see, the target marker is jumping wildly. We are spotted and we're the only thing these ships, for example, can shoot, then we're going to be the main target. Then the JB is closer to them, so they want to shoot the JB. Anyway, now you will see the very dangerous torpedo attack here in a second. Boop, and the JB dies, which is okay because the JB is not the target ship, the Rouen is the target ship, but Of course, we also have a secondary goal of having at least 3 battleships alive. For some reason, our synop decides, well, I prefer if we failed that secondary target, so our synop rushes in for no reason at all, eats all the torps and dies. Sad, we will not be able to save at least 3 battleships now, but overall it's looking quite good, because the torp threat is mostly eliminated at this point. There's not many ships left alive. Some stray Luftwaffles floating about. We are of course spotted in the smoke, thanks to smoke firing penalty, but it doesn't really matter at this point. The operation is won. As you can see, the Alsace is already pretty close to the border. I don't think the Hipper can get there in time to launch torps. Also, we like to destroy Hipper's top launchers, of course, because then we can shoot it better. So Hipper's only got 1 set of torps left on that side, and now it's got 0 left, and then it dies. Let's just clean up at this point. And we want to take as many of them with us as we can, which includes that DD. And that York. And that's the operation done. Everything's dead. Now we just have to wait for our Rouen to make it out there into the end zone. By the way, in case you didn't know, the Rouen can still take damage outside of the map unless it gets into the circle. Once there has been a notification that the operation has been completed, the Rouen cannot take damage anymore, and then it cannot die. But yeah, this is the standard way of playing Operation Hermes. Just don't get focused, shoot down everything, focus your AA on the right side. This is the notification, by the way. Once this has shown up, the Rouen cannot die anymore. And most important thing, probably make sure you stop those DDs in the end, because they will be a problem otherwise and end your operation. The DD is there, of course, the 4th time that your battleship Rouen is under direct threat. The stars, as you can see here, of course, we only got 4 stars because the synop decided to suicide. Okay, it's his decision, I guess. This is the individual score. It's nothing particularly great, which is to be expected, because there was also another Mainz on the team, which you can see here. Yes, in fact, the Mainzes took 1st and 2nd place, as they should, honestly. So, yeah. Detailed report, a bit of HE, bit of AP, bit of torps, bit of fire. It's really not a lot of fire damage, to be honest. Really unfortunate, but I guess we shot those battleships in the beginning with AP, so we couldn't get any fires there. But 18 fires for 15k damage, that's really not a lot. These are the earnings. As per usual, blue booster for credits, blue booster for Captain XP, and a green booster for free XP. And this is Operation Hermes, or was Operation Hermes, the standard route, as I call it. I'm gonna upload a second video where you can go a different route, which is not for everyone and not for every situation, but what I just showed you in this video is basically what you can do every time.